Thank you so much, and thank you for that excellent intro. I know that this is the last case study of the day, so I will try to keep you as engaged as possible. I'm very excited to be here, and I'm very excited to be representing Wisp and taking you through this case study that we launched earlier this year. So before I get started, I just want to take a second to kind of frame up what we're going to talk about today and what I'm going to be walking you through. So I'm going to talk to you about Wisp, what we are, because I've talked to a bunch of people here now, and they've looked at my name tag and said, "Oh, what's Wisp? Tell me more." So I'm thrilled to be able to speak about the brand and the company more, and then take you through this campaign that we worked with an agency named Eversana on, that was an awareness campaign that is really talking about some pretty important issues that we're facing, and really the overturning of Roe v. Wade back in June of 2022, and what the landscape has looked like since then. So it's been 2 years and some change since that ruling, and what the state of things is looking like now. And then also why we decided to partake in this campaign. There are a number of reasons, and I can't wait to walk you through them. Then I'll get into the digital out-of-home piece and really how we were able to work with Eversana, get this campaign to come to life, and make as strong of an impact as we could, knowing that this is a polarizing issue that we are going to be talking about with the campaign, which is medical abortion and abortion at large within the states. And then also how we were able to really amplify with the channels that we had access to on a limited budget. So getting into what Wisp is, actually, I do want to know, before I talk to anyone here, has anyone heard of Wisp before? Yes, oh my gosh, I was gonna say, if anyone has to do a live the hand raise, I would be quite upset, but I'm glad that people have heard of Wisp before they met me today. So Wisp is a female-focused telehealth company that is across all 50 states. We provide access to a lot of medications that women need. We also provide access for certain medications for men, which is great, and we're continuing to expand on our men's offering and couples offering. But we're really focused on making sure that people have access to the medications that they need when they need it. Access is a really huge core value of ours, and specifically within reproductive health and medical abortion. I'll get into that a little bit more, but we want to make sure that people feel equipped to have what they need when they need it, and then also still get that personalization, even though it's a little bit different than going into your doctor's office. You're not seeing your doctor face-to-face, but you are talking to a licensed medical provider on a secure platform and getting your medications fast. So we do same-day pickup. You can get your medication within 3 hours, which is phenomenal. You can also get discreet delivery of your medication as well. So if you want something that can come a couple of days later, get that free shipping, get discreet delivery, we got you. The way that it works is it's very much like an e-commerce platform. So you go to our site, whether you know what you have and what you need, or you know what you have and you say, I don't really know what I need, I'll let the doctor decide. We can do that for you. You can also come to us and say, I don't know what I have, I don't know what I need, I just need a consultation, and we'll be able to do that as well. So it's all online, it's all in the comfort of your home, and exactly how you need your care. So when we were first talking with Eversana about this campaign, that I'll go into a bit more in depth on the next slide, we knew that this was an awareness campaign. So it was a little bit different. It's bringing awareness to medical abortion and the state of things after the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And when we were first talking to Eversana about this, it just made complete sense to us to be partnering with them on this campaign. The reasons why are a lot to do with our product offerings in the reproductive healthcare space. So we offer birth control, emergency contraception, and medical abortion. And I will say, since the overruling of Roe v. Wade, we have seen a lot of different movements within the demand of these medications and the demand for us. So with I'll start with emergency contraception, even though it's in the middle. We saw a huge spike in sales with emergency contraception in the post-obs world. And we said to ourselves, okay, we need to understand what our customers need, not just with one medication, but how do they need to get the medication? Do they want to stock up on it? And over time, what we ended up doing was getting people the option to get bulk buying if they wanted to do that. So you can buy up to 6 Plan Bs at one time so that you always have it on your bedside table, in your medicine cabinet. So if you're in a situation where you're feeling really stressed and you're anxious and worried, you have that supply with you. And of course, this is through our medical providers, so getting your medication is safe, it's verified, and it's getting you what you need for the situation that you're in. With our birth control offering, this one is excellent because over time we've been able to also give the bulk buying option. You can do subscription, you could do one-time purchase, you could get a prescription once every 3 months, you could even do the 12-month option, so it's once a year you gotta think about it, and then that's it. But we really just heard from our customers that they wanted that flexibility and they wanted those options, so we really said, okay, how can we step up and give that access even more to our patients and really make them feel supported in this kind of uncertain and unsettling future or reality that we now live in. We also make sure that we are more competitive on pricing for our consultation than our competitors because, again, for people who are very price conscious and they want to make sure that they get the healthcare that they need, we want to be able to support them 100%. Last but definitely the most important is medical abortion. We have this offering and we're very proud to be offering it. This is, again, through our medical providers. Our patients are completely supported and safe, and they have the full 24-hour support from our staff. And the pricing on this medication is excellent because it's 60% lower than the average. It's about $200, and that's without insurance. So even if you have insurance and you want to make sure that you can get medical abortion medication and you're qualified for it, it comes at $200, and it's it comes nicely packaged. You have all the information, and you have all of the corresponding support. So the campaign, the awareness campaign that I keep talking about and teasing, what was it? It's called the Hippocratic campaign. So what it is really touching on is the multitude of struggles that people have had to face over the past 2 years with the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and not just on the patient side, but also the medical provider side, because when you become a doctor, you have to take this Hippocratic oath. And now we're in a reality where doctors are having to struggle with both of those sides of the equation. They're having to take this oath to serve their patients, but then also they are having to respond in ways that maybe they don't want to, and they can't support their patients to the best of their ability. So we knew that we had limited resources and limited budget and said, okay, how can we really amplify this, and how can we do it in a really smart way to get in front of as many people as possible who would support the message of the campaign, but then also get people to think about it as well. That was something that was really important to us. And when we worked with Eversana, we really provided a lot of the factual information. And what we also did was we looked at our own channels to say, okay, how are we seeing different trends with emergency contraception and birth control? Because we really wanted to make sure that we had a 1 + 1 = 3 and get the most amplification as possible. So the campaign efforts, I won't read them all out loud, you guys can see these, but we made sure that it was gonna be a 360 campaign. We did a little bit of teasing leading up to the release of the film, which is basically the center of this campaign. And it's a 6-minute short. We're gonna watch the trailer for it, which is 30 seconds. It is less than 10 minutes long, so I really encourage everyone to watch it. It's an incredibly moving campaign, or short film actually, so I recommend it. You can find it on YouTube or just type it into Google, the Hypocrites campaign. Okay, so I think
As a member of the medical profession, I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of humanity, the health and well-being of my patients will be my first consideration. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat.
Okay, so like I said, the short is it's less than 10 minutes. Again, very moving, and it takes place in Texas. So when you watch it, you'll see, I don't want to give everything away, but you'll see how that story unfolds with our protagonist there. So now to the digital out-of-home piece, which is why we're here, and I want to make sure to talk about how we really amplified. But as I mentioned, one of the obstacles that we were facing was that we did have limited budget. I think we needed to be very strategic in how we were trying to go after media, see if we could work with any media groups who would also donate impressions to us to get this message out as much as possible. And what we did was when we worked with Eversana, we said, okay, we're gonna take a look at our own data on our back end and figure out the best places to launch the impressions that we have to get the most amplification. So we were looking at a range of geos where we know are within our top 10, and we know that would really resonate with people and people would get behind it. But we also wanted to try to get into states and cities that were not necessarily our top areas. So Atlanta is a liberal city. It leans more blue, but the state is red. And Phoenix is also an area, it's not within one of our top demos, but we figured that this would be a nice area to test out to see if we can really get thought-provoking conversations going and get people thinking on their ends about this branded campaign. So criteria points that we were thinking about, that we think about even when we're considering Wisp campaigns for geo-targeting is these set, I would say. This is the most important. So the amount of exposure we were gonna get, we knew that it was important for us to figure out how we were going to maximize with the real estate that we had, because we didn't have as much as a typical very expensive brand campaign. The other thing is that we wanted to look at political stance. Are we in a blue area? Are we in a red area? Is it gonna be us really speaking to people who are very much in support, or is it gonna be people who are going to be very provoked and trying to figure out how they feel about looking at a teaser trailer for this type of topic? Overall, too, we wanted to make sure that we were sensitive with where we were advertising because of the nature of the topic. Medical abortion is very, very sensitive, of course, and we wanted to make sure that that we were going in areas where we were creating a lot of thought and empowering people to educate themselves and think a little bit more and feel something from this awareness campaign. Socioeconomic status and those elements with populations that may be underinsured. We are a company that does not require insurance. That's another accessibility point of ours. So really making sure that we could be in areas where when they found out about this film, they watched it, they found out about Wisp, they could really benefit from it if they didn't know about us before. And then looking at Wisp's performing geos and saying, okay, we know that we're successful here. If we really want to amplify this type of awareness campaign, we want to have it in areas where it would be felt and shared and discussed. So we knew that we wanted to get into places that were already successful. And then also looking on our back end at our geos that have a lot of potential. So looking at those conversion rates for specific types of products in our different product categories for reproductive health and saying, okay, I know this isn't within our top 10, but could we even move the needle and get this area to be a little bit stronger and resonate further with people? So one of the elements of this campaign was that we were promoting QR codes. So basically, the film didn't run, of course, on the digital out-of-home, but we had teaser trailers. We had 15-second, we had 30-second, like the one that you just saw. And we had those QR codes strategically in different placements that would allow people to scan. They had enough time with where they were to scan. So if they're in a taxi, they're sitting there, I would definitely scan. I have done that before when I've been sitting in a taxi. Transportation shelters, when you're waiting and you are sitting or standing waiting for your bus and transportation, you have time and can be compelled with what you see in that type of teaser trailer. And then also transportation stops, so think subways and you're going down the escalator, you know, you're slowly going down. If you're looking up, I usually am looking up, being able to scan with your phone. Okay, so the results. This was a result that we were incredibly happy with being part of this campaign. We had a tremendous amount of amazing press. We had over 2 million unique media views. We had a ton of press covering this campaign. We also had an excellent amount of media donated. There were a lot of media companies that heard about this campaign, they saw the campaign, and they wanted to, within the run, donate impressions. And that really resonated with us, because that showed that other companies really felt our mission and they wanted to support what we were trying to get out there and what we were really going after with this type of campaign. We also saw a 59% usage of 59% of the impressions that had utilized the promo code. That, to me, is a really compelling stat, because we knew that people were interested enough with what they were seeing to then go further, learn more, watch more of the video, and again, be moved by this incredibly wonderful film. And then we also had a media group help us run Digital Out of Home in New York. Digital Out of Home in New York, as we all know, and especially from this summit so far, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot going on in New York. So the fact that we could get 28 million impressions was really a success to us. And being in a place like New York City, where you're getting a lot of travelers, you're getting a lot of people coming in, you have a ton of foot traffic, and people who are standing behind something like this, and this type of topic was really a win for us. And then, like I said, we had a ton of press. It was amazing. And then not only could we get those pieces, we were up for awards, which was great, and really just a win. So in an industry like ours, it's healthcare. I was having some fun conversations last night about how regulated the healthcare industry is for any brand. It gives me headaches a lot, as I'm sure you can imagine. I know that everyone has different regulations and kind of hiccups to go over. But one of the great things about Digital Out of Home is that it gives us a little bit more control, where we don't have a lot of control in other areas. So I have paid social up here because we get flagged a lot on paid social for ads that we can't run, for certain product categories that we can't run. We have had to really go up to bat with some of these advertising partners and say, hey, like, this product is compliant with your policy, but it's just how you look at the policy. And in some cases, we've been successful, in others we haven't. So making sure that we get the message out there and not diluting the brand and not diluting the message, because that would defeat the purpose of what we're trying to do. The other thing that is important to us is specific placements. So we know that we do a great job on paid search. We know that we do a great job on paid social, and we're working with algorithms there. When we try to do geolocation strategies, of course we do those for events and whatnot, but it is not as scalable, or we're really not trying to pinpoint the people that we're looking for. We're looking for people who are in certain areas that may have not as good of access as other people might. We're looking for people who are taking certain types of transportation. We're looking for people who are traveling. There are a lot of applications for where Wisp can come into play to make your life a little bit easier. The other thing is amplifying untapped markets. So we know that we serve in a lot of great places, and we know that people are very bullish about telehealth. But there are also a lot of places across the US where people don't really know what telehealth is, or they're not comfortable with it, or they are skeptical, and really finding how we can get our message out, whether it's about convenience for the commuter who goes into New York, or whether it's for the commuter who maybe lives in a healthcare desert and the closest pharmacy is a half an hour away, or the closest hospital is an hour away. If you're really having a problem, or listen, if you've woken up at 3 a.m. and you got a UTI, you're like, I need to fix this now. It's those types of things, and really just trying to make sure that we are very refined and efficient with where we're getting these placements. So the future of digital out-of-home. I know that I've talked a lot about that specific campaign, but we have done a lot of out-of-home as the Wisp brand. We have done out-of-home in New York. If anyone wants to hear a story about how we had to fight very hard to be able to get Subway ads that said, I heart vaginas, you can pull me aside after, and I'll tell you about it. We did get them to run, but it was a big battle. We also have been doing out-of-home in different cities like Miami, Austin, we've done digital out-of-home before. But how we want to think about digital out-of-home in the future as more of an always-on channel is in these ways, because we know that we have to get it to scale. We know that we're a very conversions-based company. So these are the three big things that I've taken away with my team on this. So making sure that we're popping up in places where the audience is very much our target demo, and it's a high LTV patient. Oh my goodness, my boss loves when I give CAC to LTV ratios and I'm getting those high LTV patients coming in the door. We know that you could come in for something like a UTI medication, but then you could also get your birth control with us, and you can also get other stuff. And if you want, and your partner want to get some of our other better sex products that we have on our site, you could do that too. So we serve a lot of different needs within your healthcare journey. We also launched fertility and recently menopause options. So we really want to show customers perspective and current that we're there for them in so many different vicinities. The other thing is that we want to focus on geos with dense populations, or geos that have that are increasing in population. So we know that even with pre-COVID, a lot of people have been moving around, they've been trying new things, and there are certain cities where they are booming. Like Austin is booming, Charlotte is booming. These are areas that are having so many people come in, and those offices and doctors' offices are probably really overwhelmed. So can you be getting your UTI medication or your yeast infection medication with Wisp so that you're not gonna have to wait 2 weeks to see your doctor? You can get it taken care of within a day. We also, we know that with residents, this is something, but then also with travelers. So I traveled here from New York. If I had a situation where I needed a medication, I know that I can go to Wisp's website and I could get it taken care of. My doctor's not here, so I know that I can really trust in that. The other thing too is long wait times, transit density, and like I said, commuters, because we know that when you're commuting, you're looking around and you're really taking things in, and making sure that people are getting the message for themselves, they're getting the message for others, and then if it's making their life a little easier in some way, we're there for them. And that's all I got for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. We're time for questions. Oh.
Raise your hand up again, sorry.
Hi, Adrian Witter, Group M. That was excellent. Thanks for taking us through that. I'm so curious to hear about some of the battles you had with getting some of the copy up and what you had to do to contextualize the copy for the various environments that you were in, or if it was uniform across all of those high dwell time formats and environments?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. For this specific brand campaign or awareness campaign, we didn't change the messaging based off of the geo because we wanted to have clean lines when assessing the performance and really evaluate each geo on its own against the teaser trailers, which all performed well. When it comes to Wisp itself, when we've done digital out of home, oh my goodness, how much time do we have for battles? We have had a lot of challenges with saying the word vagina. That's something that we try to destigmatize. And a lot of times, and this is easier for us to do, is we'll say, hey, if you allowed for ED medication to be advertised, then why can't we do the same for women? So it's examples like those, and when we give them to certain outlets, they say, okay, you know what, we get it. And our CEO, she's a fighter, and I fight alongside her. But that we typically do, and then also when we have certain moments, like when we were advertising in Austin, we definitely tailored our message a little bit around being in Texas, being a little bit more conservative of an area, but being a more liberal option and talking about things like our OMG cream, which I've talked to certain people in the audience about, and it's definitely a product that would cause someone to open their mouths and have their jaw drop, but it's good to try to have that challenge and figure out, okay, if I can't get this across, then how do I figure out another avenue to get them to say yes?
Hi, Rick Robinson with PJX Media. We have several brands we work for where we advocate for similar type messages. And what we found is that while the media outlet is very worried in the beginning, the response from the public is usually very positive. And I'm curious what the public response has been.
Yeah, absolutely. The public response has been overwhelmingly positive. It's been very supportive, whether it was for this awareness campaign or for Wisp in general. We get an incredible amount of support from different media outlets, and even our partners that we work with, our advertising partners, they understand the frustration and they will go to bat with their policy teams for us. It's the great thing is that we know how passionately we feel at Wisp, and we know that there is a huge population that also feels passionately, whether it's our partners, whether it's our patients, whether it's the influencers that we work with. I think too, the thing that we always try to lead with as well, outside of a lot of our values, is equipping people with the right information to make their own decisions. So if someone feels negatively about our brand or negatively about a campaign that we do, and I think we at Wisp always challenge them to say, okay, we want you to make your own choices, but we also want you to be educated. So no matter what you decide to do, as long as you're making an educated choice with factual information that is clinically backed, that's what we support.
Some of your, I think at the very beginning when you were showing some of the stuff that was driving to the Hippocratic campaign, you were showing use of QR codes in high dwell time areas. What kind of response rates were you seeing there, or what were you learning about getting people to actually interact with the creative?
Yeah, I think the thing that we were learning was that that there was a lot of curiosity around the teasers. I think if we did something like had a longer clip or something that we tried to stuff too much information in, it could have hurt us. And I think because the big driver was the fact that it was a movie style teaser trailer. So kind of trying to think about the things that engage people when they're seeing a trailer and they're saying, oh my gosh, I want to learn more. So making sure that we had the right clips and really just seeing how people were going to respond to it. I think that was very different because you're not necessarily having within the copy of the frame a call to action. You're giving a clip of this short film and seeing how that response is going to be. And I think that style was very engaging to people.
Rather than tell the whole story. So, I mean, it's sort of, it's similar to what Sean was seeing in some of his campaigns before, where he's using almost cryptic messaging to intrigue people. And that's what's really driving the response, not for more. Click here.
Exactly.
Orlin from OMG23. Follow-up to Steve's question, actually. Were you using different QR codes for different placements to figure out which ones are more effective to drive decisions for future campaigns?
We were using one QR code per creative.
Sarah, this was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.